Hey guys, how are you guys doing? Welcome, one and all. It's time for us to look at those tactics of yours. They're coming in thick and fast. I'm gonna put a link in chat soon so that we can take a look at some other tactics too. Let me just get this fired up. Interestingly enough, I'm waiting to see the transfer window because some clubs are not really moving in the transfer window and others are moving. Some clubs have more players leaving the club than there are players coming in, namely Arsenal. So it's going to be quite a window. Liverpool, I'm still a bit concerned. Man, Liverpool could be losing more than just a few players, man. If you're a Liverpool fan, you won't recognize Liverpool's team next season. More or less, it's going to be a whole bunch of new players. You're wondering where they got them from. I mean, we have Trey Nyoni, who's signed a new contract. And then we've got this guy called Ngumoha, Ngumoha. This kid is basically a 16-year-old kid who's supposedly so good, 17-year-old kid, 16, 17, who's supposedly so good he can start games. So we'll see. That'll be interesting. They do expect some of the youngsters to be starting next season. And Arne Slot has mentioned that he has no plans on making it a big squad. So Luis Diaz is most likely leaving. So is Harvey Elliott, Konate. So that's three big names that are not going to be the club anymore, man. Spurs, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, hey guys, how are you guys doing, man? Okay. We got tactics today to look at. Let's not waste too much time. Let's jump in those tactics. Okay, we're using this safe Aston Villa. I don't know how many matches we have left. We don't have many. Yeah. So wow, look at that, man. Last couple of matches. That's been crazy. So I'm gonna pop in the tactic. Yeah, we've been experimenting with some of these tactics, haven't we? Okay. Hope you guys are staying cool wherever you are. We have global heat wave, I reckon. Everywhere there's a heat wave. In here, I mean, our heat wave is punched with some pretty strong. There are thunderstorms here as well. All right, so we've got two tactics from the regular two, I guess. Matty Zucks and Spurs fan, both of them quite good at creating some tactics. So what does Matty Zuck have this time? Interestingly enough, it's a 4-2-3-1. Now, there are many ways to play a 4-2-3-1. There's no right, wrong way of playing a 4-2-3-1. Some people come in and tell you, oh, this is a meta or whatever. No, seriously, it's such a good formation. You can, at the end of the day, we shouldn't be looking at numbers. Yeah, we shouldn't be looking at a number and go that this formation is the best or 4-3-3 is the best. It is, the number is irrelevant. It's how you transition into attack. And the players that you have in those positions, the structure of a tactic is much more important than the numbers that you put up. So looking at his tactic, let's try and interpret the structure of this system. So if you're looking here, he's got he's got an inverted fullback, CD, PPD, and complete wingback. Now, inverted fullbacks, they tend to be more defensive, but they can get up as high as here. So what he has is basically a 3-1 build out, right? So he's going to have a 3-1 build out. This guy's going to stay back. So these three, he's going to be positioned slightly higher. But once the ball moves through midfield, he's moving up. So you will have a bit of a lopsided setup where this complete wingback has the opportunity to roam, and he's only told him to close down less. And this guy over here is also closing down less. This guy here is staying wide and close. So he wants him to push out into this position. And this player most likely to take up somewhat of a central position. And then we've got Volante pushing on. This Volante going up is going to come into this position. The AM is also drifting. So here is actually more important when you have like these kind of roles to understand the player who's playing in that position, because that player is going to define how their role is going to play. Then you've got this player sitting narrow, and this player just doing the roaming. So he's going to be in this position. So basically what he's got a focus play down the left and the right. So you're expecting to do a fair few build-outs. Now, advance forward. Now, this is a tactic that is not looking to waste too much time scoring goals, right? He's playing on a normal tempo. He's looking for a lot of through balls through the middle. So the structure of this tactic will have wide players, like he's going to be wide. There'll be a 4 in midfield. This guy's going to be a bit narrow. And this guy has got the option to go left or right. He's going to hold his position. Now, the advantage of having him hold his position is that you kind of secure this zone. He will try and help cover this area when this player is missing. However, you also want to make sure that this player has the ability to defend those transitions. So you want a player who's got very good anticipation and concentration. Volante coming up, just going to push this guy wider. Now, where are the goals going to come from? Largely here. Most of the time, they're going to come from this player. Because when you play with advanced forwards, the focal point of attacks is going to be the advanced forward. And the transitions aren't going to be slow. They're going to be relatively fast. And he's playing on an attacking mentality to emphasize that he's willing to take risks. Go back to front, the ball is going to move, right? Now, is this a good tactic for an underdog side? Probably. I would say this is a decent underdog tactic because he is not looking at he's playing our defense, hoping that teams draw into the press now, and then after that, looking at releasing everything relatively quickly. Now that would be from the attacking mentality, and he's got mixed passing. So the players that are going to do those kind of passes, which should range from medium to long passes, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3. Right. So if you wanted to, you could actually turn this guy into an NCD, and then but then that will bypass any build-out patterns involving the volante. Okay, so let's see how this tactic plays out. Oleg, how are you, man? Welcome to the stream. Okay, so we're in the dressing room. We are playing Crystal Palace. Pretty decent test, and we're playing away from home. We're gonna play this on comprehensive highlights, not only commentary. Because we were messing with some tactics. So we're only looking at the commentary mode. Now, during transitions, there are 2 things I'm gonna pay attention to. One is the build-out. You can see what I was referring to. This guy's going to be DMD, right? So he's got this guy in a central position. He's got this guy asking him to play a bit wider. This is a ball-playing defender. So he's slightly higher than the CD. The inverted fullback is here. So this is the shape they take up in a 3-man. When you have like IFB and 2 other defenders, you will normally see this kind of a shape. There's a likelihood, if you play with a complete wing-back, this player may not go very wide. So that's why he's got to stay wider on him. All right, see what I mean? He's not positioned perfectly in this position. If you want the players to form a perfect V, then this player has to be an IFB and this player becomes a libero. So right now, he doesn't play like a libero. So he's just coming up the pitch, that's it. So there we go. This is nice. You can see what I mean by the build-out patterns. You see, so these are your principal players that are going to be doing the defending. This is the inverted fullback on defense. On attacking mentalities, you can expect him to be this high up because the team is attacking, the mentality is attacking. This role, while defensive with orientation, is still a fullback, and he will try and sometimes he might cross the ball if his attributes are good enough. Otherwise, he's just going to check back and look for support. This is when you look at your tactic. He's got a winger on support on that flank. He's got Volante inside, and he's got another defender who's further back, right? So it's not too bad. He's got a cross on him. He delivers into the area. Because we're using an advanced forward and we're playing attacking mentality, those transitions are fast because they're going from back to front. They're not wasting too much time in the build-out. If you wanted the build-out patterns to be slower, you take a role like a poacher, which would be the best role for a slower build-out pattern because the poacher will bring others into the fray. So again, this is our player here, Douglas Luiz. He's playing in this position. He's playing as a volante. Remember, when you have positional play, this guy goes out wide. See, he will take up this position. You can see the 4 right now. This is a shape that they take in the transition, right? So this is the reason why, when you play a volante, the moment the ball gets into the midfield area, these guys go up. So here comes the inverted fullback. Here comes our DMD. This is a defensive midfielder. Because, okay, why is this happening? Shouldn't the guy be here? This is why focus play is a very powerful tool. But if you don't know how to use it, you get into a lot of trouble. Because focus play will shift the 2 midfielders to the side of the focus when you have the ball. Which means that if you apply focus play on the left and on the right, you have to make sure that your central midfielders have a lot of stamina, work rate. They can cover a lot of the ground. The Chambers with the ball finds it, and guess what? You see what I mean by it doesn't take too long for the ball to go up the pitch. It's really fast when you play with an advanced forward. I mean, so the role itself isn't a meta role. A lot of people seem to claim it's a meta role, but no, that's just epitomizes the lack of understanding of roles and duties and how the team instructions influence transitions. So if you play with advanced forward, chances are your transitions are going to be fast, and you amplify this when you're playing on higher mentalities. Now, even if I were to drop this to balance, which I'll do in the second half, we'll see what I mean. Okay, so we're just going to go to extended highlights now because I wanted to use that to explain the shape of the tactic. So what's more important whenever you create this kind of tactics, it's not the number 4-2-3-1. It's going to be the structure of the tactic. So the structure of the tactic, you can see when I was talking earlier about this being the DMD. So now the complete wingback is here, the ball playing defender is here. As they build out, he's going to move here. This guy's going to come in. He's going to roam. He can either be here or he can be here. So McGinn goes at, because why as the team move this way? Focus play, remember that? Now focus play to the left, so they come up to support play down the left. And again, the transition, advance forward, up top, yeah, let's get the ball to him. So this is a great tactic if you're an underdog side, and if you find that you just want to make a tactic which is solid, it covers all the zones, and you want to just go transition from back to front really quickly and try and score some goals, then yeah, I would say it's not bad. It's not a bad tactic. If you want to get more players involved, then you start looking at poachers, pressing forwards. It's the choice of the role really influences the kind of goals you can score. I mean, it's easy to make a tactic and just go like very attacking, high press, high defensive line, and then wow, this is a great tactic. But then you're camping in the opponent's half anyway, so you're probably gonna get players. That's a great move. Scored a goal, but I think he was offside. The transition itself was very nice. The movement in the zones was very good because you can see how this goal, the movement that was created, the movement that led to that goal was largely a function of width because he was playing on the narrowest width. So when you're playing on the narrowest width, there are going to be times when you can move the ball. He's got a bit of a zigzag here, so that's a good reason for having these two on support. So they're always going to be passing options. So you can see there are plenty of passing options here. As McGinn gets the ball, he drops across. Great. They're not spending a lot. They're not hanging about, man, trying to score, waiting for the rest to come up. It's a good tactic. Yeah, I like this tactic. It's very simple. And you can see he's doing, giving this 4-2-4 a run for his money. So, and yeah. But so far, okay, for me personally, when I evaluate my own tactical systems, it's not about the number of chances I create. It's the number of chances I create that are inside the area. And in this position, this zone here is what I aim for all my tactics. So I always like to create tactics which have a lot of tap-ins. So if you wanted to, then if you see something like this happening and you're really like dominating the play, right? What you can do in a situation like this is go work ball into box, low crosses. Because if you don't not already using that, that's when you start thinking, okay, why not? Because in this tactic, I don't think there's going to be too much risk of, so immediately I put this up because we've been going to the byline quite a lot. And in doing so, we might mitigate against that advance forward being the, let's get the ball up the pitch quickly. Now, when they get the ball, they're going to go down and try to create goal scoring opportunities. The downside of this is if you're an underdog side, you could get into trouble because of the support, right? A 1-2, 1 support, 2 support, 3 support, 4 supports, 5 supports. All these guys, we could run into trouble because it's supporting attack more than a defensive phase. So when we play all of them on support, then we are having to worry about defending 1, 2, 3 spots on the pitch, 4 even. So the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the mentality down to balance. See whether it helps because this will change our defensive line and also our line of engagement, right? So slightly reducing that. As you can see, they are getting into goal scoring positions too. So Moreno with the ball back to Kamara, McGinn out the dug. See, when you do play narrow, you get a lot of these inside, what we call wall pass, where they go in, out, in. They use the ins. They go wide, but they come back inside. So they use the center a lot. So this is great. Oh, almost. Okay, we're going to change now the role in front because we're doing okay. And I don't want that role to be the focal point alone. So I'm going to change this now just to a pressing forward. Another role that could probably work here is a complete forward on attack. Again, England won the toss again and they have put India into bat again. Second test starts in under 5 minutes. Oh, thanks for reminding me, man. The first test was quite epic, right? The first test. What a target that England reached. I mean, you'd think that a team that scored so many centuries might win it. They didn't. Okay, balance, right? See how now the attacks have changed, but playing on balanced mentality, I also brought in using a pressing forward instead of a poacher. Now the effect will be we're taking less risk for our transitions, okay? But then we're getting more players involved, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to attacking mentality, which was what we were doing earlier, right? Okay. So now let's see what happens. So I'm not attacking mentality already. Now if this is the attacking mentality. But remember earlier when we were using an advanced ball, how the ball would just go from transition right into a attempt and, So, but now the move is a lot different because we've got several things in play here. One, we're not using a focal point of attack anymore with the advanced forward, right? Two, we are using a pressing forward instead of an advanced forward. Then we're also using work ball into box with low crosses. So we're taking our time to get into the goal scoring positions. But when you start using a pressing forward instead of an advanced forward, your focal point has changed. So other players might get involved because the pressing forward is going to be putting pressure on the defenders. The advanced forward is different. He's going to try and get behind the defenders. So now we're creating pressure in the final third with this guy. Okay. Buendia is doing well. He's putting so now what we can do after scoring a goal, right? What if I do this now? I go back to mixed crosses. Okay. Some might be thinking the only reason why you got that is because you're using ball into box. So I'm going to change this now. Why? One of the reasons why I've done that is because I don't want to work ball into box anymore. I don't want to get everybody too high up the pitch because we're not defending well. Look at our numbers at the back. They are abhorrent, 6.4, 6.6. Our defenders are actually not having a good time. Our midfield is exceptional at the moment. So we're going to focus, on not asking our boys to defend. So we're not asking our defenders to go too high up the pitch. We could or should drop a defensive line. All right, and I'm going to look at any options. We're just going to bring Tielemans on. I don't know if he's any good as a... He's not that good in the air. That could be the biggest mistake I made today. Yeah, I bought Leon Bailey, Fresh Leagues or DRB. Let's just make a few changes and see whether we can disrupt our own team. Tyro Mings or Moreno, this will be fun. Okay. What about that's Zaniolo for McGinn? Let's just make a few more changes. Morgan Rogers, the youngster, now different, no? Okay, now what I've done is Morgan Rogers CA isn't as high as Ollie Watkins, right? So sometimes when you're playing this game, right, you gotta also think, got 8 minutes left, and I'm putting in a player that is a kid. Now, the match engine will recalculate at this point because now it's gone, you've taken off a really good player, you put in a kid player, a youth player, the rest of the team better be good, or the rest of the team better be fit. Let's see what happens. This will be fun. I'm expecting to concede a goal. Okay, if you see what I mean? The next highlight is their highlight. Next highlight is their highlight. So the moment I see this, right, what I will normally do is I'll come in here like a panic. No. Whole shape. Whole shape is actually brilliant. No? Why? What does whole shape do? Whole shape actually tells your team to pass the ball around when they've just won the ball back. So I'm not countering straight away. I'm going to take out player defense. So I'm not gonna invite these jokers to come and try and score against me, right? By asking my team, hey, heroes, play out from the back. No. You don't need to play out the back anymore. Okay, so you got a whole shape. I don't believe in using this button. It insults my intelligence. Okay. Okay, we gotta distribute to the flanks. All right, so okay. Because you can actually waste time without using time wasting. Because until today, I haven't seen the player run to the byline and you see the commentary, he is wasting time. I don't see that. Hey, we won the game. See? It was classic. I like this game. I like the tactic. I think this tactic has potential. But like all underdog tactics, right? Okay, if you're playing using underdog tactic, like what we just did, this is definitely an underdog tactic. 100%. If I was playing against Man City, Liverpool, I will go with this tactic tomorrow. Why? Because it's stacked nicely. It's got the right players in attack, but it's got a lot of players transitioning into the final third to support the attack. But the numbers we have in defense are respectable. This is defenders 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's quite a lot. I mean, normally I defend with only 3 players, but this has got 5. So it's worth trying. Yeah, it's worth trying. So, but AF. But what if I meet a team that is just as good as our team, right? Then I would change my mind. It's like what we saw earlier when I was going down the byline. They were just trying and whacking and trying to shoot, right? So in that case, there's no point playing with an advanced forward because an advanced forward is just trying to get behind the defensive line. And if they're sitting very deep, there ain't a lot of space behind the defenders. They're probably defending very, very deep. So you're better off playing something like a pressing forward because there's no offside trap for him to trigger, right? So yeah, pressing forwards is just put pressure on the defenders. That makes it easier. Then we, as you saw earlier, we were doing a lot of crosses, getting the guys down the flanks. And I was thinking, okay, fine. Why don't we just go ball into box and play low crosses? That way we get more players in and around the area and we score the goal. This game is not hard. It is not hard. There are certain things you can do, and these are standard in every single tactic that you have out there. Right. You don't have to go in there and I need to make a massive change to my tactic. You don't need to. That's really not necessary. Hey, question. I'm Gorica, Croatian League, playing against favorites Dinamo. What kind of trigger press to employ? Should I use a pressing forward or advanced forward? Exactly. I mean, look. If you are playing a tactic where you think you'll be defending a lot, then I would say use an advanced forward. Right. If you're thinking that you have enough players to hit the team on the transition, press advanced forward all the time if you're an underdog. If you're playing against a team that you are even Stevens with, they are just as good as you, then pressing forwards can do well, poachers can do well because they bring others into play. Yeah. I don't know if India is getting used to the wicket. Yeah, India is not playing well. It wasn't just their bowling, no. It was their fielding. Their fielding was shock. I saw highlights of the first test. How many catches did these guys drop? I think I counted 4 catches, 4 outs that were catches. I mean, 4 outs that were catches. They'll be outs if they're catches. But I mean, 4 missed catches. Easily you could have had 4 outs based on that. No, I was not impressed with India. I think India is but India has never traveled well to England. I mean, very rare. India goes to England and stamps a mark. It's always had issues with the wicket. All right, so we done the first tactic. Oh, sorry, links. I forgot to put in the links. We're gonna look at a few tactics later. All right, so next tactic we've got is from Spurs fan. So Spurs fan, your tactic. Dung, 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 dung. Right, go, let go. Okay, there we go. Okay, how we got? Spurs fan. BYT, RPM base, Earl Grey. A dash of RM dressing sprinkle. Okay. Alright. Wow. This is oh my god. Robbie playmaker in this position. Yeah, he's got Anchorman here, right? So he ain't going anywhere. He's going to be forming 2 with the Libero. So these guys are coming. This is a very interesting shape. It's very imaginative because Enganche is just a hook with a white target man on the left and a Ramdauter on the right and a poacher. This is a tactic. When you see a poacher, it means that this tactic intends to control, dominate play, so that you need really good players in these positions. And we are playing against Bournemouth, okay? All right, maybe we have the players. This roaming playmaker is going to come up. Enganche is going to move left. So what has he got? He's got tackle out of Mike Taita. That's fine. White target man in McGinn. I don't think he is a white target man. Can Diaby? No, not a white target man. Ollie Watkins, can he be a white target man? I mean, you're about the closest I have to a white target man. So we use him instead. All right. Then up top, we will Zanilo as a striker. I think this should be fun. Oh no, Zanilo can play as a white target man. All right. Okay, we put Zani in as a white target man. All right, we got Buendia, Bailey, Ramdaughter in Bailey. Okay. McGinn. I mean, McGinn is a Ramdaughter. Now, why not? Now we can go and ask McGinn to be a Ramdaughter just for the fun of it. He's got no focus. Okay, this is one time when you play a Ramdaughter, it's interesting, this tactic. Whether it works or not, I don't know. Because even I don't know where it's going to come from. Yeah, where the goals are coming from. Yeah, so I'm trying to, okay, now I'm looking at this, I think of the structure of this tactic, what he's trying to do. Okay, Enganche is here, roaming players, so you got these two in the middle who are playmakers. We've got this Ramdaughter, he's going to be looking for space to attack the area. The poacher holding on to the ball, linking all the play up with these guys, so that's interesting. White target man also holding up the ball. Wingbacks coming in narrow, I will assume, yes, that's what I thought. So the wingbacks are coming in narrow. We got all these guys like, Ramdaughter looking to attack the space with a poacher. Focus play on the left might be interesting. And they're playing high up the pitch as I expected. So poachers are great for this kind of tactics. Poachers are one of my favorite roles for any tactic that plays a high defensive line and a high line of engagement. Because that poacher is just going to hold those defenders down. And that's when I love Ramdaughters. Okay, Pau Torres. Now we're looking at the transition. As you can see, he's got two. He's only going to have these two guys. The anchorman and the other defender. See, your defenders are going to be this good. No? Torres and Kamara. That's it. And they're off each other. No? Pau Torres and Kamara. These are your two defenders. The rest of them are just going, you know what? We'll drop in when we're needed. Okay. So you see, what we've got? We got Moreno, the fullback, and the other fullback. So we got the two wingbacks wide now, giving us the width, right? So there's nothing wrong with this tactic. It's quite ambitious. I mean, I'm telling you, this game doesn't penalize you for coming up with crazy tactics, no? Yeah, it does. It has never penalized us for coming with imaginative tactics. It's always been. You can create really funky tactics on Football Manager. It's all. How well do you understand where the roles and duties are doing? Okay, that's all we're going to worry about. Okay, we are playing against a tactic that has got. We're playing against a system that is a 4-3-3. So they're going to have lots of players in the middle. He's not using focus play left or right. I'm inclined to add that instruction to avoid the 3 in midfield. But let's see how this tactic does without the instruction. So far, it's doing quite well. I mean, yeah. See, we got a 1-4-2-3 shape. Yeah, it's literally a 1-4-2-3. And maybe it doesn't need focus play because as easily as these players in those positions. Yeah, because the other thing I don't really like using focus play when there's only one midfielder. Yeah. When it's only one midfielder, it doesn't make sense to have focus play, right? Because focus play puts central midfielder closer to the line, the area of focus, but he's already here. He's a roaming player. He's gonna go here and here. Yeah. So the Enganche is the one we want. Enganche is quite interesting as a role. Yeah, but let's see what happens. So Cash, Kamara again, Zanilo, the white target man is doing quite well. He's really trying to get in on the act, man. No, not a bad one. I mean, quite funky, this tactic. It's working. It's been all over the opposition from the get-go. God, Bournemouth haven't seen the ball. Every highlight has been us, in their half. You can see from the action zones. Look at the action zones. The midfield, the two of them are just ruining the lives of these three. you would think, right, when you play with this system, it would struggle against a 4-3-3. But so far, it isn't. Zaniolo, the white target man, gets in the area and sets up. Oh my goodness. He set up a few players, but he couldn't finish. They could not find the back of the net. I don't think I want to change anything. I think I'm not changing anything in this tactic because the balance seems to be just right. Yeah. Because the pressing is okay. Yeah. When he gets the ball, yeah. But the wing back got back in time to support play. The anchor man, ball playing defender, libero is going to come up. He's like the extra man that's coming up this side of the pitch to support play. See the libero here. This is the Konsa is the libero, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Konsa. Let's watch Konsa's movements, right? And we're defending. We don't have the ball. It's a 4. Right. Now we have the ball. Konsa, libero, goes up. He moves a bit forward. Then he gets into the center. There's an extra player there. Konsa has gone all the way up. And now, even though Konsa is exposed, Konsa is swapped position. Cash is here. Kamara is here. Konsa is back in the zone. He's come back to defend. He's not doing too badly. Yeah, I mean, this really is the first time they've had a shot. It has almost created a sweeper. Yeah, it's created like a sweeper kind of role, right? Quite nice, this tactic. Quite funky. And that's the good thing about Football Manager. You can come up with some really interesting, very interesting shapes, structures in your tactic. Yeah, this is like a sweeper system. Look at that. Nice. Look at the movement. Oh, man. If only he hung on to the ball a bit longer. But the poacher is definitely a good role for this tactic because others are getting into the final third using the poacher. But maybe what we can do is add a low cross element. This is a bit dangerous. I do think this is very dangerous. We're just going to leave a mix. I think ball into box is enough. I can't think of anything else, man. Okay. What we can use, drop it even more to fairly narrow. Okay. Why am I doing that? The reason why I've dropped it to fairly narrow is I want to use the insides more because we seem to have more players here, right? So I want to use the center as a passing play. I mean, basically a zone one pass the ball. Okay, we're going to use Diaby as a white target man now. Okay, Moreno, Zaniolo as the ball goes back to Martinez, Pau Torres, Konsa. Back to Cash. Somebody's going to move in the center. Yep. Okay, nice. Konsa really moves up. McGinn! Oh my God, that was brilliant. McGinn almost scored. He was put through. Couldn't find the back of the net. Great move from Konsa. Konsa surged up the pitch and looked to create a brilliant goal-scoring opportunity. Matty Cash gets us another corner. This is good. This is nice. Normally for most tactics, right, I come off comprehensive highlights. We've been on comprehensive highlights for quite a while. Oh, beautiful goal. They deserve that goal. I mean, some of the football has been scintillating. Some of this football has been scintillating. It's kind of funky. The tactic is funky. I just made one change. We're just at work ball into box. But no low cross. Okay, so the only thing is because we're going to swap Douglas Luiz for Kamara. Just because we want to see what happens. And then we'll put Yuri Tielemans up there because he in Enganche. So we'll see whether we can screw the tactic up. We'll put Diego Carlos here for Douglas Luiz. Okay, let's see what happens. Play players that are not that good for those roles and see whether we pay a premium for attributes. Because sometimes you have to, I do that in my tactics to see how expensive the role is. Otherwise, I need to find the right player for their role. He has to have a lot of those attributes. They swapped into a 4-4-2. They've got a highlight, got into a corner. Yeah, easily gathered by the keeper. Martinez now plays that. Play our defense, right? Yeah, okay. Nice. Lost the ball. Again. Yeah, with this kind of tactics where you don't have play. I mean, I don't think he's using player or defense. Yeah, if you play our defense, you gotta have. See what happens, because he doesn't have not enough support, right? This kind of a tactic, player or defense is not your friend. Yeah, he's not your friend because once teams start putting a lot of pressure on you, you start giving it up. So we're gonna remove this, and this is the problem with this kind of tactics. So what we're gonna do is gonna do this and go distribute the flanks. No more player or defense. Okay, and then go with that now. Because player defense is not a friend. All the DMs and MCs are going to be super deep. I'd rather do this. Get the goalkeeper to kick it. Yeah. Nice. Matty Cash with the ball. McGinn squares it. Oh my goodness. The next goal is a gem. Oh, what a goal. Matty Cash gets it to the inside forward who checks it back to the AM, and he just, the enganche. Tielemans playing as enganche, just, that's like a slap shot. Very nice. So we got 7.1, 7.3, 7.3. We go. I think this what this acting needs to do is to play a lot narrower because that's where your threats are. Because why did I change to very narrow? I wanted the three roles in the middle. I wanted these three, 1, 2, 3, to be the cornerstones of the tactic. Because if you want most of the play to move to the middle and involve these guys, then you really need to play on the narrow setting. And the other thing that we did, I didn't change, so it's just this. I didn't change anything else. Nothing else except for player defense. Towards the end, I don't like player defense because it'll pull him too deep sometimes, so I don't really need that. So against some teams, you probably can come off this and then just, instead of distributing that way, you can go this way. Yeah, you can do that and just remove this. If you already got white target man or router, why not? We can. Let's see if we've got any other tactics coming in. Otherwise, this is going to be a really short show. Or Pescara, one tactic here. Download this. 4312. Nice. I haven't seen a 4312 in a while, man. Wait, what happened? Okay. All right. Okay, Pescara 4312. 431 between right now for Football Manager, between a 4312 and a 4132, I think a 4132 is way better. Because a 4132 can take advantage of the traps. Now, I think to some extent you can do that with a 4132 or 4312 as well. We're gonna apply the trap later. Okay, so let's go. We got the players. The only problem with these tactics, they're expensive. You gotta have the right players. You got CM support. I don't like this. Get further roam from position. It really puts this into a really bad position because then your fullbacks are launching all the attacks and you expose your flanks. So what you want, I think here's AP as well. You don't want them. I would recommend these two roles to be simply the roles I would recommend: ball waiting midfielder, Bazala or Carrello. Yeah, that's it. You want to avoid the box-to-box midfielder because of their gets further forward. You don't want a player coming here. You don't want these guys coming here. If they come here during the transition, you're in trouble because a lot of the movement is your fullbacks are going to lose a passing outlet, and then they have to depend on only one player in the middle. And then when that happens, they run out of passing options. They can't transition the ball. The fullbacks get exposed. You normally what you normally end up seeing is you are defending a transition. You're defending against your own attacking transitions because you had the ball, you lost it. Now your player's out of position. So that's a danger. So yeah. Yeah, the problem is you can't really use those roles for this. Yeah. You can, because of is here again, once again, right? It's not about because those roles go too far forward. How are you going to bring the ball forward? You're going to have issues. You're going to have plenty of issues. Okay, Midoria, yours is in a Discord folder. Is this yours? Because I just saw this tag thing. Let's see. Oh, you got two more here. Say loudly and Midoria. Okay. Okay. So you can see, I mean, when I saw this tactic, I knew the problem with this tactic. You gotta during the transition, your midfield is gonna leave your fullbacks behind. And there's nothing you can do. Because the guys in midfield, you got way too many players too far forward. So then the fullbacks go charging and you're exposed again. So yes, this is somebody else's tactics here, loudly. Yeah. So every time the fullbacks go forward, you're exposed. See what I mean? Look at that. If you lose the ball anytime here, I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but in 4-3-1-2s, they're not very good for Football Manager 24. You got to think about, there's only a few like ways you can, you got to think about how can you protect your back line. That's it. Well, you can't even protect. It's quite difficult. I'm not even sure whether I can do it well. Yeah. So right now, what we're seeing is a lot of the play involving this flank attack. Every time we attack, we lose the flank. AF pressing forward, okay, but again, you want pressing forward to pin the defenders, put pressure on the defenders. You want this guy to run behind the defenders. Okay, could work in some sense. We got a goal, not bad. Here, right, the only thing about this kind of tactics is the fullbacks, right? You gotta be, if you're gonna be attacking with this, these two guys, we basically turn this into a very attacking tactic. You can't depend on it. You might run into trouble defensively. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna turn these guys into fullbacks on support. Right? Yeah, so we don't go all the way. I'm going to turn these guys into mezzalas on support. This guy into like a mezzala as well on support. So we're using the flanks. Take more risk. I'm going to remove it. I'm going to remove this, dribble more. This guy's a defend duty. Okay, so he's going to have to stay back. Close out more, tackle harder. We don't need that. We don't need tackle harder in the center. Okay, so these two roles already have get further forward, right? Okay. So they're going to be in this position. So or else what we can do is go ball winning midfield on support. Now we know he's not going to get further forward. Here we got CM on support. Okay, you can use two CMs as support. Now this guy is not going to get further forward. What I can tell him to do is move into the channel. So he can move left and right. Okay, so I'm going to turn this guy CM on support and also tell him to move into the channels. And so that's it. Okay. So I don't want him to end up here and here, right? So we're going to use this guy. First, let's try his fullbacks on attack. Or fullbacks on attack. Or maybe I just become more ambitious. I'll go wingback on attack. Okay. Let's see what happens, right? Much more often, I don't need them to be too high up the pitch. Get stuck in, get removed. Okay, now the second thing I want to do, and this is really crazy, okay, is I'm going to apply a trap. Trap outside. Okay. So there is a strong possibility I'm gonna get into trouble. Here, this guy is an AP on support. And we're gonna ask him to roam probably. You know, you dribble. Yeah, tackle out the mark tighter is fine. And then we'll turn this guy into like a poacher. Okay. Let's see what happens. Okay, so comprehensive highlights. All right, so what we're doing now is we're using the fullbacks, wingbacks now. They're going to dribble. We're going to expect them to bring up the ball. But we're using CMs on support instead of rows that get further forward. So all they do is they go into the channel. So they will be in the half space. And then we got this guy roaming. So we have a trap inside. We have a trap outside rather. Why am I trapping outside? Because the middle is a no-go zone, right? So what we allow them to come down the flanks this way, right? And we'll probably invite crosses so these guys will stay tucked inside. We'll see how far down the pitch they go. That will leave us with the ability to counter down the flanks too. I know most people say, why did you trap inside? I don't know. I'm just having fun. I've been leaking goals. Yeah. To tighten things up, I wouldn't use a fullback on attack. And I wouldn't use get further forward in AP. Yeah. You could use like a role like a setup like this, Wingback attack, wingback, CM on support, CM on support. Move into channels on either side. Don't put tackle harder. In fact, don't put tackle harder anywhere in midfield. Put a roam in the center. Change his role to, you can play advanced forward. You can play poacher. You can play a lot of roles here. Then pass into space is fine. Move it up to standard. And what I've done is I played a trap outside with an invite cross. Yeah. Because I'm expecting the midfield to do a lot of defense. I'm allowing the AI to come and attack me, but I'm also inviting the crosses down that flank. So that my wingbacks, when they do, if my wingbacks are going to be defending, they're going to stay tucked inside. So I'm going to draw them so high up the pitch, they leave their flanks exposed. And then because I have a pressing forward and attack with pass into space, this guy could end up here. And because I've got move into channels, that guy could end up wider as well. So they're sitting narrow, there we go. So that when you invite cross, right, the wing back, right, is going to be in this position. No? So if they play a diagonal over here, he's going to intercept it. Yeah. Another woodwork. Okay, so far so good. And then wing backs are going to keep driving the ball, right? So we're going to get into the area. So another one here. As you can see, right, they're staying as tight as possible. They're inviting the cross, so the guys are coming down the flanks. So they're just tracking the target. As long as you're good defenders, you should be okay. All right, again, there we go. They're trying to get into they're trying their best. They can't. So now they've gone through the middle as well. That's okay. Our players are not letting you. I'm not playing trap inside. The one thing I don't want to do, because otherwise they're going to part the Red Sea in the middle, and I don't want them to do that because we've got naturally a block there. Okay. Let's go. Wingback on attack. Kamara, Konza. They're going to look for inside. Yeah, baby. Pressing for an attack. Right. That's the beautiful thing about their role. So what we have done is, okay, we've used move into channels, which will encourage this guy to come out into this space, this half channel, right? We got to roll like a pressing forward. The pressing forward also moves into channel. So when we transition, we can do this. Now, here you can use an advanced forward, you can use a poacher, you can use any bloody attacking role except roam roles. Right? You don't want a complete forward. You don't want a trequartista. You want somebody who's either going to attack the line or just sit on the shoulder of the defenders. So he done quite well here. And there we go. He's in a half channel. Move into channels, right? Boom. And we carved out a goal. This is nice. Yeah, whenever you play a 4-3-1-2 or a 4-1-3-2, if you don't invest in good wing backs or full backs, then don't bother playing the tactic. So we're drawing them in, and then they expose the flanks and our wing backs go charging up. Or our move into channel roles take up their space. So instead of the reason why your tactics struggle was because you asked those two guys to get further forward, which puts a lot of pressure on your fullbacks to get the job done right. Now we've got players that will be in that channel when we need them to be, and then we invite the cross. So we let the opposition come down the flanks. But in doing so, we are, keeping, when we do lose the ball, we are staying tight so far. But the only problem with these kind of setups is, look, if you don't have defense, you don't have a lot of players who can hustle, hustle. That's a good word for it. If they can't hustle, then you're in trouble. And if you need to be able to swap out like these four all the time. Yeah, and the problem with this kind of tactics is this, right? Your substitutions are not based on who's tired, who's got poor rating. No? This is the problem with this formation. In this formation, your substitution strategy is purely based on the positions you need covered. So your wing backs and your two side midfielders. Yeah, so the moment you're forced into a change, and you're forced into taking a striker off or two players off, that's when your tactic runs into a lot of trouble. So you're gonna have to be quite careful. So I didn't even take a chance on taking out the CMD. Look at that. Defensively, we are excellent at the moment, so they haven't been able to penetrate our midfield. Yeah, this is a tactic that needs a big bench. And your bench better have like midfielders, wing backs. The only players you never sub in this game is your 3 strikers. So your strikers will never complain. Like, squid! Oh man, Diaby is an idiot, right? Diaby could have squared it for Watkins, no? I don't know whose tactic this is, man. Marcus, do you think FM24 should adjust their rules descriptions to match the real world? There's no such thing as real world football rules as well. There's no real football. Nobody, I mean, like, there are no real world formations either. It's all structure and positions in which they take up. Yeah, players just have got specific tasks to do within those positions. I think SI should just stop using role descriptions. The only reason why the only reason why the game has got role descriptions in it is so that the tactical creator has a reason for existing. Yeah. Otherwise, people are going to go, how do I make this role? How do I make this role? How do I do this? How do I do that? Yeah. That's the only reason why we have a tactical creator, because people will go, I want to make a Sir Alex Ferguson tactic. What do I need to make a Sir Alex Ferguson tactic? Really, you can make a lot of minor changes to your thing. Yeah. Any good AML, AMR can play PF. As long as if he's familiar with the position, yes, I will agree with that statement. Yeah. As long as he can play the position. Okay, good. Not bad. We had to make a couple of changes. So I would recommend that if you're using this tactic, my recommendation is going to be to change a few things. First, use 2 CMs on support instead of 1 and remove all this. Just move into channels. You need him to move into the channel. A channel, once again, is that space here. 1, 2, 3, boom. Fine. Those are the channels, right? So you remove this, remove this, remove this. Don't roam. Move into the channel. That's all you need. Pressing forward, poacher or poacher or advanced forward. Here, you don't want to use an AAP. You want to use an this. You don't need him to, you can ask him to move into channels, but what you want him to do as well is you don't need dribble more. Now, these 2 roles, they are fine. I wouldn't bother with all this. Yeah, don't add tackle harder. You can play fullbacks on attack just like that. Okay, here you don't need anything like this. Don't have to tackle harder. Don't have to tackle harder. It doesn't mean they're going to work harder, get stuck in. Yeah, I even dropped the thing to a higher defensive line. Okay, and move this up to somewhere here. That's fine. And it'll be fine. Yeah. The tactic will be fine. You can use wingbacks. I'm very comfortable using wingbacks on attack in this setup. Yeah, get him to drive up the pitch. This is a tactic that needs to be proactive. It needs to attack. You will concede goals. There's no way you're not going to concede goals with this tactic. You will, because your flank's always going to be exposed. And then you want to do invite crosses and trap outside. Not trap inside. You want trap outside. You want them to come down. You want the AI to come down this area. So you're giving them the fullbacks. You're giving them saying, use your fullback and your winger. Come on, try and cross the ball. Make sure you got defenders. And then they're going to run into trouble. Once they come here, they won't be able to pass the ball because your jokers are blocking their way. You don't need to tackle hard or trap them. The moment they come in the middle, they lose the ball. Yeah, they're going to remove attack, support duty. They just have to get people understanding roles. I think the game next year is, I think there's a strong possibility Football Manager could be slightly more complicated in the future. But the game itself, I'm fine with it now. I think it's super easy. Oh, shucks. I think the game right now is actually quite easy. Yeah. The only thing that will get you down is basically your subs, not enough substitutions, or B, you chose the wrong roles and duties. Yeah. There's no meta. And some people might be thinking this is a meta role, this is a meta duty, this is a meta instruction. That's when things go south for all of you. The moment you start believing there's a meta, and this is the best way to do it, this is the only way to do it, there's only one way to play the game, that's it. That's it. You're as good as, you belong the same, you probably should vote for Trump. Okay, we got inverted wingback on support. Take more issue. Let's get further forward. I don't get this. No, this guy is gonna get further forward. This doesn't mean that he's gonna just jump all the way forward. Right? Get further forward is a very dangerous instruction to apply on any role, especially if it's defending, because it's gonna affect your build-out play. So let's use this and see how this works out. I'm not a big fan of applying that instruction. Not. It doesn't make the tactic more attacking. It doesn't make you score more goals. Yeah, go ahead, man. All you guys can ask any questions you want. Within limits, of course. Yeah, you don't need to go in there and apply a lot of PI. In fact, my recommendation is don't apply any PIs to your tactic unless it's move into channels. Move into channels is very solid. It's a very solid instruction if you know what it does. So that's the only one I would recommend people use on the generic roles, because that will encourage them to make that sideways movement in the role. Otherwise, they play very much to the attributes of that player. Okay, we've got this role. Let's see how it builds out. Okay. Yes, I didn't check the PI. I didn't check this PI. Yeah. So can I remove it? I remove. If you guys want to change it, better tell me now, because it's got like things like. I don't think most people are going to apply this, because this is just going to ask you to get very high up the pitch, and then you're going to have a big problem in defense later. Yeah, on the whole, right, this tactic is fine. CM on attack here. We got underlap left and right, holding up the ball, looking. If anything else, a focus play on one side of the pitch just to get the Trakotisa to score more goals. It's about the one thing I would add to this tactic. That's about it. Other than that, this tactic is fine. Pressing for an attack is going to go. Trakotisa is going to do a lot of funky stuff. Winger support is going to come this way down. He's got Kai inside the ball shoot. Marking specific position is something I'm not too keen on in the game. Let's see who's marking. He's marking the left-sided fullback. Okay. They don't always do that. And it does affect the attacking. One thing about that instruction, right, is very good to use it defensively. Like against a very good team. But then against like some of the other teams, that could be out of position. Do I have experience with the pre-game editor? Which pre-game editor? That pre-game editor is made for geniuses. If you don't know anything, don't mess with it. Cause you more headaches than anything else. Pre-game editor demands some knowledge of coding. I know friends, I have a couple of friends who are very good editors who use the pre-game editor, and I'm telling you, even they also when are we going to get a pre-game editor that's for the 21st century? Take more risks, dribble more, move into channels. Okay, all right, let's go. Let's see how this tactic plays out. Yeah, but my experience with the pre-game editor is limited to very few things, because the rest of the stuff I was worried about the effect it will have on the code. Because if you mess up if you're not very good at using a pre-game editor, what can happen sometimes is you inevitably create data errors that actually cause your game to crash. And I think if you have any more questions about that pre-game editor, the SI forums has got a very solid group of players who are very familiar with the pre-game editor. There are a couple of guys there that are really helpful. So go post your question there and they will be able to help you. SI forums being the sports interactive forums. Okay, again, that when you see a transition like that, right, it goes up and it goes to the wing and stops, right? Something has to be done, because you see transition going up, right? Okay, now if he loses the ball anywhere here, right, without leading to a shot on target, then you need to make a change, right? So far it's been okay, right? So we have one transition that it wasn't very good. Now one transition is okay. So based on that, I'll probably go like, okay, I'll just leave it here and just, it's not doing too badly. It could do with focus play. This tactic can definitely use a focus play. Like, where do I want to do most of the build-up patterns on? Where do I want to do most of the build-up patterns? On the right side or the left side? So, if it was me, I'll probably be looking at the you could do it on the left or the right. Doesn't really matter. The goal is who's going to be doing your goal scoring. So, if our goal scorer, it should be the Trakotisa, then we do it on the right. If our goal scorer, if we want it to be the CM on attack, now that's a bit more complicated. Then we have to do it on the left, but then we have to introduce other things as well, like work ball into box, low crosses, so they can come in on the edge of the area and score goals, because he is, after all, the CM on attack. CM on attack. So far, so good. Yeah, so far, okay, yep. Yeah, the inverted wingback isn't doing too badly, he's in a good position. And we lose the ball, and we get the transition again. And a good attempt. So far, okay, I know. But I'm not a big fan of the inverted wingback. Yeah, but you can force the focus play. The focus play is not happening on the left side. No? The problem with focus play is this, right? If you play a focus play tactic, you create focus play, you want to be very careful where the focus is. Because if you lose the ball in transition, it's going to cost you dearly if you don't have a good rest defense. Now, on the left side, it's better because we're not using inverted wing back there. On the right side, we're using an inverted wing back. Now, that means that if I'm playing on the right side and if I lose the ball, my inverted wing back has to move from the DM position to the fullback position all the time, and that could be a problem. Yeah, so I'm more inclined to apply the focus play to the left instead of the right because the left is not as risky as the right. The right is extremely risky. And they get in, and okay, not too bad. Yeah, you can't play a focus play on the right. It's very, very risky. So far, so good. But like all 4-3-3s, 7 players defending. Something I really hate. So you gotta you gotta play on standard tempo, find a role like a poacher in the final third. There we go. Scored a goal. Yeah, it will be defensively rugged. These kind of tactics are very rugged defensively. Very hard for teams to score a goal. But once you've scored the goal, right? Once you scored the goal, you don't need focus play anymore. Because then you don't have to worry, right? So you see, we dominated possession and we don't need focus play, right? And now I'm going to apply the focus play on the left. On the left, on the right, I'm going to remove. I'm going to remove this. Because the widest player now is going to hold up the ball looking for inside run. I don't need that in somebody doing an inside run for the CM on the tank. Yeah, we don't need that. Because then we are really, yeah, I don't think we need it. I mean, I could be wrong. Whenever I consider penalty, one of the reasons why I don't like to use think about me is that I'm a very simple-minded person. Very simple-minded when it comes to football tactics. I go like, wherever I play the focus, all the players going there, that means space appear on the right, there's going to be attack duty there to score goals. That's how I look at the game. That's how I look at it. I don't overcomplicate my tactics. See, this guy is coming in. So you can see, right, the CM on attack is moving up, right? So what I'm going to do, there we go. DRB, CM on attack, and he lost the ball again. Okay. All right, we're going to tell him not to be a CM on attack. I'm going to try something. Okay, so we're going to go box to box. And then this guy is just going to be on Ramdaughter. So we have a Trequartista Ramdaughter pressing forward. Okay, no, okay. We'll just tell him to be a poacher. Okay, this will be funky. Just for the fun of it, huh? Let's see what happens, huh? Just for the fun of it, huh? But now we got roll left and right, right? They might not be defending, no? We just want to see what happens. Okay, go to key highlights. Okay, so I got Ramdaughter here, got Trequartista, I got Poacher there. And because these three are he's just holding defenders, and these guys are left to do their own thing. Like, what are we doing? I don't know, man. I don't know. Apparently our managers decided we can do it. Just like Eric Cantona on the right side. Who else? Some other funky player on the other side. They all do it. Juan Roman Riquelme on one side. It's like everybody's doing their own thing, man. There you go. Yeah, so we're going to have a lot of this unexpectedness in the tactic, no? Douglas Luiz goes wide. Oh, man, we missed I wouldn't say that's a great opportunity, but... Okay, nice work, Kamara. See, the right side is now a lot more attacking. Zanilo. Oh, it's a pen. McGinn was brought inside the area. No penalty. Damn it, it was a pen, man. No need to put wingback on the right side. We got attack duty this side. If anything else, we've just put what we can just do. We can just do this. Inverted fullback on defense. Then you still got width, but he's gonna go high up. And defensive, because all you're doing is like defending with this whole bunch of players, right? You can definitely use a wingback on that side. 100% you can use a wingback. But then your attack you're gonna get a lot of fellas attacking. So just like the inverted wingback, he comes into this position. So it's okay, you know, box to box going up. Then we have a Raumdauter. So it's more like this guy is coming up into the center here. This Raumdauter is from a wider position trying to attack. We had a poacher in this area, Trakotisa dropping here, complete wingback going to. So it was, you know, this tactic has got a lot of options. So you can afford to try a lot of things with it. The 4-3-3 always has a lot of it's a formation that gives you a lot of options. Yeah, you're not rooted to like one style of play. And this is one of the reasons why if you become very good at playing the 4-3-3, right, you can actually go into a lot of games there's a lot of tweaking that you can do in games. Yeah. So you can go like, okay, there's no width coming on that side. Like you just said, there's no width without the winger. I want to put a wing back. You see how you were thinking? Exactly. That's what you can do in a lot of your games. So I went and put the focus play on that side, on the left side. Then we had a Trakotista, and immediately I'm thinking, how am I going to score goals on the other side since no one is there? Raumdauter. You can also put a wing back there, but it becomes very attacking. Or you can be a bit more defensive-minded, inverted wing fullback. Oh, you go carry on with it. It's a good tactic. Yeah. Like I said, you have plenty of options. Plenty of options. Because 4-3-3 is a formation with options. Now we come to this tactic. Now the problem with these shapes is, whenever you put an AP and attack behind a complete, there's two very creative roles. No? Like this guy's gonna roam, move into channels. No, not particularly good combination. With another guy is going, hey, you know what? I'm roaming, moving to channels. Who's gonna score your goals? Volante is coming up here. DRP is holding position. So what will happen is these two become creators. So these two guys are your principal goal scorers. So you have to think in terms of playing guys here who can score goals. So the underlap is not your friend anymore. Because the widest player is holding up the ball looking for inside runs. We don't want the widest player holding out the ball looking for inside runs. We want the widest player to be scoring goals. See the problem now? Because you got two playmakers either side of two players who should be scoring goals. So it's either your playmakers are scoring goals or your wider players are scoring goals, right? Because you got these two guys playing off each other. Complete for roaming. AP is like trying to get into the area. So it's not a bad tactic, but you're going to have to think in terms of who are my goal scoring? Where do you want your goals to come from, right? So the one thing I will remove is underlap. Underlap, I'll remove it straight away. Because these two, when they come up, if you play a really creative player here, he comes up, these two are in the center, no? They're like playmakers. So these two can become goal scorers. So you don't need them to be on attack duty. They can be inside forwards as well. They can just try and get behind and score goals. And you don't need the underlap anymore, right? So we'll let this tactic play out, and after I make the changes. Quite simple, yeah. But, you know, we're always giving ourselves a bit of a challenge, eh? We don't have anyone defending. Sometimes I like this kind of a setup. Volante AP. I've got a lot of tactics like that, no? Like a Volante and an AP, right? They will become creators in the center. Then the two guys on the left, I've done two Raumdauters. I've done two inside forwards. We'll have some fun with this tactic, yeah? We're gonna see whether we can first tactic with two Raumdauters inside there. That's the extreme version of this tactic. Ollie Watkins has already scored the goal. See, I'm thinking this tactic will work, yeah. So, but you remove the underlap. Huh? You don't need the underlap in this tactic. The tactic works. Inverted fullback comes here. Wingback is running. Volante. So he's got the Volante and the thing. Yeah, it works. Okay, what we're going to do is I'm going to remove the underlap now. And I'm going to do something. Okay, the safest is two inside forwards. Yeah, this is safest, huh? Because then they'll help you defend, right? But let's not play safe. Let's play psycho. Who wants safe? Let's go psycho. Let's do psycho, okay? All right, let's go psycho, man. Two Raumdauters. Let's see if this works. I think it's very risky. I would go inside forwards, okay? Inside forwards, 100%. 100% I'll go inside forwards, yeah. Because inside forwards are still on support. I wonder what it's going to be like in FM25. No? When people say, I want the guy to come back and help you defend. So you got to choose what the defensive role of that play is during the transition, I guess. Hey, baby. They apparently like the change I made with 2 round daughters. This is the first tactic I've ever made with 2 round daughters. Huh? Double round daughter tactic. Complete for dropping AP. So this is a creative center. As we go up, we'll see these 2 players coming in behind to the spaces. And this is okay because we've got 1, 2, 3 defending, 4 defending. Wingback the wingback is driving up, so it's okay. Okay, you can, if you think it's imitating Rafinha, I know I'm making a tactic to score lots of goals. You can go and imitate all the people you like. Yeah. We had the right imitates. I mean, how can you make somebody imitate Lamine Yamal? Lamine Yamal is unimitatable, whatever you call it. You can't imitate Lamine Yamal. Rafinha, I think you can. But can you imagine you get double round daughter tactic? We're training, they're not obviously unhappy. Aston Villa just thumped Manchester United. This is prime Manchester United. So you see, you can play it. You don't have to change this. I mean, I would just remove this. That's all. In your tactic, just remove underlap. In fact, you can also mix it up. Yeah. Or you can play shorter. It doesn't really matter. And wing back going up. Yeah, leave it. But if you want to try something funky, you can do it 2 inside forwards. That will work. You can also play with 2 round daughters. Don't fix it. Don't fix it. I don't think it's I tell you. I tell you what you do. From now on, you just play like this. Okay? This is a round daughter tactic. I love it. It's a round daughter tactic. There's nothing wrong with this tactic. It's pretty decent. It's one of those more imaginative systems because why? These 2 come. Make sure this guy's a playmaker. I'll make sure that he's got the qualities of a playmaker. If he's got the qualities of a playmaker, you're gonna have a really nice tactic where the 2 guys on the inside are making goals for the guys on the outside. Okay, so this is a Discord. Okay, so let's look at what the tactics are from you guys. Okay, we've got a couple of tactics. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll look at the tactics today. Okay. I don't have time today to play all the tactics. Be able to. We'll talk about the tactics and see what we would change. I'll just discuss. Once again, I will explain the tactics based on the structure and how I see them opening up. Whenever you create a tactic, you want to know, okay, how does it look like in the build-up phase? Yeah, I've done 2 MCs. You can definitely make a tactic with 2 central midfielders. I mean, I'm assuming you can put any roles you want there. 2, definitely I've got a tactic. Just put a libero, man. Brilliant. I love that tactic. I've got 1. It actually works. You don't have to play with 2 DMs all the time. No, you can play with 2 MCs as well. It works. Yeah. The only reason why people want to use 2 DMs is because they are more defensively minded. What if you wanted to make a tactic? It's all about attacking. Then of course you don't use that. No? You use the 2 MCs. Fondre FMD4. What's this tactic? Oh, this is interesting. A lopsided tactic. AM. Complete wingback is going up. Ball playing defender. This guy is when you play ball playing defenders, you got dribble moves. Okay, nice, good. So what you're gonna see in this role is this guy's gonna try to play passes this way. Now I'm looking at this, right? This is a tactic that once his wingbacks get high up the pitch, they'll be this okay. I don't think you can play on standard or lower defensive lines. You might affect a few of the roles here. You could play it on standard, but lower is going to be a bit of a risk because the transitions and these 3 are the only ones you got left attacking. So, okay. Yeah, this is fine. Step up more is like playing an offside trap with 3 defenders. Doesn't normally work. I just leave it. Yeah. Roll it out is fine. Okay, this is you got this rolling it out to 3 defenders. Okay. And then you're gonna look for players that can make the pass. You got 3 ball playing defenders and a sweeper keeper. You can play it out to the complete wing back. So these guys have to be very good passers. The ball DM is got take more risks. This affects movement, passing, and everything else. I mean, if you play this and you lose the ball, you could be in trouble. No, that's the only thing. Here, I probably change his role to a roaming playmaker. That means if you're doing the build-out phase, he can come down, he can come here, and he can go here. So he can end up in the final third. Yeah. Now you got DLF on attack. You don't need a DLF in a tactic. You just need a poacher. A DLF on attack holds up the ball, drops deep. No, but here you can have a poacher just sitting on the defenders, and if you run out of passing options, he'll just bring others into play. Poachers are still okay. I mean, you could also use a DLF on attack if you have a player that can play that role. My personal preference is to use a poacher. Now, looking at these instructions, you've got an overlap and an underlap. Overlap means these guys going to hold up their runs waiting for this guy. Now, this tactic is a natural overlap. So the only thing that overlap achieves in this tactic is positioning him higher up the pitch. Okay. Now, does the tactic need it? It doesn't. So because then this guy doesn't need to be too high. Otherwise, it's going to affect your transition. So like this, it doesn't affect your tactic. In fact, what it does is he's still going to be quite solid because he's got to take more risks. He's going to run wide with the ball. You want him to run wide with the ball. That's fine now. So the widest players don't hold up the ball just for him alone. Now there's a lot of you can transition the ball up down the flanks. Okay, now complete wingback on this side has got cut inside with the ball. Now the problem with the complete wingback, he roams, right? Okay. Now if you want him consistently cutting inside, you change his also to wingback. Then he'll consistently do it. The problem with the complete wingback, he roams. Sometimes he goes left, sometimes he goes right. This is just a tendency to do something. Doesn't mean he's going to do it all the time. Me, I would start with wingback on attack and then apply that and tell him also to sit narrower. If you want him to go this way, but because of the inside forward, you don't want this unchecked. Now, naturally, he's going to go in and out. So he's not going to roam all over the place. Right? So he's just going to give you that option. You can also say, okay, fine, you know what? I don't need you to come inside. I just want you to go around him all the time. So you can. This guy's in half space. Okay, I see you done that. So you just leave this alone. So you can go this way, you can go that way. It's really up to you. Because we've got a roaming playmaker now coming up here. Now, if you played like an AP on attack, they're just here all the time when you get the ball. So now we got the ability of bringing the ball up the pitch with this role. So you got a lot of build-up. You got players that can do build-out patterns, but these guys' principal job is to go and attack. So you got these three in the middle. That's fine. This guy's got... take more risks. I mean, I'm not a big fan of this instruction, and I'm not a big fan of this instruction. No, it can work. It will work. It's not a bad tactic. It can definitely work because these two are holding their position. The AM, you're using the roll, right? So when you get a ball, immediately go straight away here. What I'm doing for, you can use a roaming playmaker. I'll do the same thing too. Overloads just give you that. Focus plays as well, goes left and right, you know. Whip, I'll just leave it to mix. Pass into space, underlap. The tactic has got all the elements to make it work because you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 channels all attacking. Yeah. Try this. Make a small change to this role, wing back. Remove some of the PIs on this guy. Roaming playmaker, and also remove the overlap on the right. Could be it's still a decent tactic. I don't think there's anything wrong with this tactic. I think it's a pretty solid tactic. Yeah, I like roaming playmaker. So he ends up here. So he helps with the build out. So in some of your tougher matches, right, you'll have a really rugged defense. Very hard to break this tactic, and it's going to be tough on the AI. But if you meet a team that's weaker than you, work ball into box, play low crosses because you're always going to be in that position where you're parking it in the opponent's third. 3-4-3 attacking direct. Okay, I'm not a big fan of using this role. So I will go wing back, attack. You're going to do this, right? Wing back, attack. And here we go. You don't have to stay wider. This guy just go in. No need to dribble more. So what you do is sit narrower. Here as well. Sit narrower. Okay. Don't have to dribble more. Boom. What have you got? You got a... Yeah, it will struggle a lot versus big teams in defense. It will. I expect the tactic to struggle. Yeah, against weak teams, it's got no issue. This way, this way. Now, think about this tactic. It's got all these guys attacking. One, you don't need these two. Their transitions are too fast. Your transitions are too fast. You want the transitions to be fast, I agree. But you don't want them to be so fast that you lose. You don't get anything out of it. So I go wing on support, wing on support. Now what you have is, you don't need two You can have 2 support duties with 2 defenders. I mean, I personally play like this, no? See, this is different, right? 2 wing backs coming out this way. This is like my 4-2-4. Yeah, this guy take more risks. This one take fewer risks. The other one take more risks. This is my 4-2-4. This is how I play my 4-2-4. It's very, very aggressive. Okay. All right. And then you don't need short kicks. I don't even need to play out defense. The play out defense not necessary in this tactic. You don't even need short kicks for what? Draw teams in. A lot of matches you can do this. Boom, boom, and go straight to the flanks. Okay. And then with this setup, you don't even need one guy. You can just defend like this and send this guy forward as a libero. Now what have you got? You got one-man defense. This guy is up here, one guy is there. This guy comes up, right? So you got one in front of the other. But when they lose the ball, they become a pair. This is a very risky setup. Extremely risky. Or alternatively, what you can do is, again, some teams have to score. Go again, do this then. Inverted fullback. Now you got you got a 3-man defense. This guy is sitting like a tree in front of these guys, and you got 3. So you got 3 here. 1, 2, 3, and then you got 1, 2, 3. You got like a double wedge for 4-2-4, which is also very, very strong. Okay, so you only play low cross because you can go to the byline. You can do that, or you also can play fullback on attack, right? And then with the sit narrow cut inside, it will work. You can play, so you can add. You see, for all these, you wanted to pass to the midfielders and go down the flanks, and you can attack. Also possible. You want them to be more aggressive, can do it like this. And then if you tell yourself, I just want the ball to go up the pitch really quickly. NCD. This is super fast transitions. Very fast transitions. From back to front. Lightning fast. Because you're using a lot of roles that are these guys are gonna drive the ball up. When he has the ball, he's just gonna hoof the ball up. There's a target forward. He's simple life. No, just hit the ball long to this guy. This guy knocks it off with this guy. This guy gets behind the line, goes on to score. Very fast from back to front. This is like a 3-pass, 4-pass tactic. So you can do this as well. Very direct football. Okay, next. We have inside forward, shadow striker. Yeah, this guy needs a roam and move into channel. So you can go TikTok, DLP. Advanced forward, no, not in this tactic. You want a poacher. Because if you play advanced forward, you're wasting all these guys. You want somebody who will bring all these guys into the attacking third. Otherwise, what you're going to end up with is your back to front is too fast. Too fast. There's no point. Then you wasted all these guys for nothing. It's like, you're attacking and you bring your army, right, to attack, right? And you say, okay, fine, I brought all my tanks, I brought all this. These are the guys who are gonna attack. And then all of a sudden you got one commando unit that's just gone off on its own first to attack, and then everybody just launched the attacks. But you haven't got all the other attacking units in support yet. So this is when you can get all the others in. So the poacher is very, very good at doing that. I wouldn't play this. I wouldn't play low tempo. Your guys are so high up the pitch. Why do you want to play on a low tempo for? You need to play on a higher tempo. So this guy, if he comes in as an inverted midfielder, he's just going to hold his position. Why don't you just play him as a fullback or inverted fullback, right? Then you can tell him because you're already sitting narrow inside the ball. You got a role now that comes here. Helps you when you have the ball. Position slightly higher up, but then he'll go down the flanks to support play sometimes, right? Because you already got this 2-man defense, 2-man midfield here. You don't need to put another one there, 3, and then have one defender. And then after that, when you lose the ball, all like panic, come back at the back. So now you got 3-man defense. This guy comes out, you got 3-2 build out, and you got 5 in attack. So leave it like this. This is a 3-2 build out with 5 in attack. You don't need a PPD. Just defend, okay? So what happened is you got a nice 3-2 build up. And this guy is going to help you with the ball. And all you need to do is focus left and right. So that these guys will move to the side of the focus. These guys will move to the side of focus when you score goals. That's it. And then here in this tactic, widest player don't add the underlap. Yeah, but this will be fine. So this is how I do it. But looking at your PIs, the only one I add is there. Other than that, probably nothing else. Yeah, this is libero. This is fine. You can play fullbacks here as well. Playmaking fullbacks. Playmaking fullbacks are quite fun. You can play a fullback on attack, and then they pass the ball inside, right? But they have narrow car inside the ball, so they work this way up the pitch. But I won't use them if I'm using inside forwards. If I want to use fullbacks, these two guys are wingers because they'll be in the same spaces when they come up. So right now since we're not doing that, we have with the fullbacks, they work really nicely because they'll be naturally overlapping when they have to. Otherwise, their priority is to defend, so they spend most of the time defending. Okay, next tactic. Okay. Backs 4-2-2-2-2. Oh, okay. DRP, ball winning midfielder. Okay, AP. Move into channels. Roam. This guy can go here, here, here. Okay, so just get him to do that. Here, this role can be I like to call a wall role. So he's just gonna pass the ball and go up. Now here, BPD needs to dribble more. He needs to bring the ball. You're not using the DM tier, right? So he can dribble more. He can support the play. The ball winning midfielder is gonna be aggressive. The AP is gonna move here. Here again, once again, don't use, especially when you got so many roles here. These roles shouldn't be poacher. They shouldn't be advanced forwards. You take one role is a complete forward. This is good. Another role can be a poacher. You can also use an F9. You can use a trequartista. The thing is, when you use an advanced forward, you got all these players all wasted. You're just punching through, trying to attack the lines. Okay, got DLP holding up. Then here, this guy should really be a fullback on attack. Yeah. Because the reason why you want a fullback attack is because this guy's a DLP. He's holding his position. There's no need for him to be a support DT. You should just go down the flanks and support. And here again, you want to move into channels. Why? Because you need this guy to come here. Sometimes you need him to come here sometimes, right? And this guy is roaming, so this guy can get up the pitch. Low cross, leave it unless you get the options. Standard is your friend here because your players are quite far away. So it gives you an option to, mix the passes up. Standard defensive line can work. You can play a higher defensive line. Your defensive line will influence how high up the pitch your fullbacks are going to commit. Yeah, so other than that, this is fine. Yeah, ball winning midfielder support is the only role here that might give you some trouble because it might go missing sometimes. You can definitely use a DM on support here as well. Several roles can work here. You can play a CM on support. In fact, the goal here is to use two roles that are not what we call positional play roles. So you got DLP, ball winning midfielder, CM support. Any other role is going to go up. You don't want these two roles to go up. You want these two roles to stay. So two DLPs can also work. Or you can just use a CM on support here and he stays in that position. All you need him to do is move into the channel, which is, again, left and right. That's it. So you have several options here and they can work. But I wouldn't use two advanced forwards. Your transitions will be so fast, the rest of your team doesn't even get into play. Okay, all right. And then now we come to the last tactic of the day. Okay, our last tactic is AK from Sean. A 4-2-3-1. Now 4-2-3-1 like this, when this guy comes up, halfback is killing your tactic. The reason is your halfback comes here during the build-up phase, your only outlet is here. These two guys are attacking. This is destroying your tactic. So I would just go DM on support. Now you got build-out pattern, which involves the wing back. I would probably turn this guy to an AP on support. So he can float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Okay, so he moves into channel. So he can go left or right. Right. This role can be AM on support. Take more risks. Again, you want to move into channels. You want this guy to be able to go left or right. So they will be moving around a bit more. When I create tactics, I select players based on what I want them to do. So you really have to understand the attributes of a player and see what he can do. So if he's got good passing vision and decisions, he can play as a playmaker. He'll play like a playmaker without even choosing the role. So sometimes when I play the game of Football Manager, I choose the roles not because of what I want them to do, but because of what they will, how they position themselves. Like AM on support, I know he's a clean role, so this is attribute driven. Shadow Striker is going to try and get into the box, so he's going to move. He's got a lot of forward movement here. AP on support is going to be a playmaker, but he's going to move all over the place here, and we got him moving and roaming from position. Here, roam from position might not be something I want. I don't want him to go too far forward. I just want him to do these kind of movements here so that he can support the fullback on attack as he comes up the pitch. So that's what you do. So when you kind of look at a formation and players and you try to understand the structure of your own tactic. But it's very important whenever you go into any game, just look at a role. Like this guy can't defend to save his life. So I wouldn't depend on him as a player that's going to come back. So I would know that using him, I can use him as a wide target forward. I can use him as a wide target man. I can use him as a trequartista. I can probably use him as an inside forward. Okay, but when I play him, I also know that on support, he may be a liability because his decision making isn't very good. His concentration is terrible. So on the transition, he might lose the ball for me. So a lot of the time, you got to go into the game and not ask, because the game, if you notice one thing about the game, when you go into this game, right, it's going to tell you can play a lot of roles just as well. Inside for winger, inverted winger, how do you know what to play? That's where you and your tactic come in. So you have to look at your tactic and go, when I want to make this tactic, I'm looking at moving my players into these spots when I have the ball, when I'm going from defense to the midfield. So it's more a case of when I get to midfield, what shape should I take before I attack, right? So I always talk about the 3-2 build out or the 2-2 build out. It's basically how I look when I go from defense to midfield. So that's how you got to look at in terms of roles and duties. So that's when you can, create some of your best tactics. All right, guys, I want to thank all of you for sending in your tactics. I hope I hope the stream was useful. And once again, we'll be back tomorrow for more of the same. Meanwhile, I got to go and feed the kids. You guys, be good, stay good, have a good time, stay safe. I shall see you very, very soon. Good night.